Liverpool play Arsenal this weekend in what would have been a big game in a title race if the title race was still going on. But instead, we welcome Arsenal to Anfield for that guard of honour. Arsenal will obviously honour that guard of honour. They're one of those kind of teams, classy outfit. And as much as it obviously hurts them that they haven't won it this season, and I think Arsenal pretty much thought they were the favourites for the title this season, considering with City's drop-off, etc. I think this is going to be a weird game. In fact, I think it's going to be a very strange game. At one point, this was going to be a game that they predicted they would come to Anfield, be within a couple of points of us, draw level, get a little bit closer. And now, a couple of months later, they're out of the Champions League, which I think they'll definitely be hurting about. And they're also out of the Premier League title race. Another trophyless season, whilst Liverpool, and this isn't even a dig, but it is me just kind of giving the context for the game. Another trophyless season for Arsenal has got to hurt when you see Slot come in for Klopp, when you see big teams around you investing, when you feel that you could still be caught by other teams in the Premier League, and you see that broadly you are in for a good summer, but so are quite a few other people. I mean, that is... I don't think it makes Arsenal favourites. I think Arsenal were favourites this season. I don't think they're favourites next. I think they're one of the favourites, but they are not the favourites next season. And that's going to hurt them. And I've got to admit, I think this Arsenal team will be hurting a lot / a little bit to, kind of get a bit of respect back that they probably lost after that PSG game, but be also just in the Liverpool rivalry. You can't let rivals get one over on you, whether it's in a game or whether it's in a title race. Both of those things hurt. Both of those things are going to feel frustrating. And I've got to admit, like similar to the Chelsea game, Liverpool really probably should take their foot off the pedal. They probably should allow to rotate players. We should put Harvey Elliott in midfield, test him out. We should be bringing on fringe players, youth players, other guys, and testing them out, giving them run outs at Anfield. Obviously, I know there are people who've paid for entertainment, and there are people who want to go and see the best players. Mo Salah's still going to play. I still think we should be playing towards Mo's best attributes. We should still be playing and trying to get him as many goals and assists in one season as possible, which is why when Darwin Nunez comes on, we shouldn't allow him anywhere near Mo Salah. Even if Mo Salah's getting his assists up and those kind of things, he just shouldn't be allowed to pass the ball to him. It's that simple. On top of that, I also think that Liverpool in general right now, we're in a great space. We know when the parade is. If you've got your ticket for the Crystal Palace game, congratulations. Obviously, that's big for everyone involved. Having this build up to the trophy lift, in which maybe we just lose every game on the way, or kind of draw every game on the way, sure, I'm fine with that. Like, if you want to have the lowest points total of all time, it shows how good we were, how much of a streak we went on, and how far ahead of everyone else, how demoralizing it was to play us, how bad it was to try and catch us up, all these things. You want to talk to us about, we dropped away, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you dropped away because you weren't as mentally strong as we were. Liverpool were incredibly mentally strong this season, showed incredible fortitude, built on last, all these kind of things. No, they didn't have Arsenal immediately behind them. And no, they didn't have City immediately behind them. And that's because those guys dropped away. How's that our responsibility? Welcoming these guys to Anfield, obviously, at one point, I was nervous. I was thinking, when I was doing the calculations, I was thinking, oh God, what's going to happen? Now, I'm just celebrating Mo Salah being the Football Writers Player of the Year, which rightly so. We're celebrating some of the young players in the team. Obviously, there are immediate transfers in the air, and with Trent announcing this week, I'll be interested to see what the actual reaction to him is. I was at the Spurs game, obviously, which was the last home game at Anfield, where we were all in a big party atmosphere, all in a big mood. It was going really well. There was a great mood outside the stadium, just hundreds and hundreds, thousands and thousands of people descending on Anfield. And I think at that point, because Trent hadn't announced, there was this kind of charitable feel towards him. It was very much, even though most people still knew or had the inkling, or whatever you want to call it, there was still this kind of like, well, we just won the league, like that's the Scouser in our team, etc. Let's make the most of having him here. Maybe if we chant in this way, then he'll want to stay or whatever. And, I think we didn't know he'd already made his mind up at that point. I mean, we knew, but we didn't know if that, he hadn't said it. I'm interested to see what the reaction is to him. Slot has addressed this. First of all, he said, obviously, we're disappointed to see Trent leave. But at the same time, I've seen big players leave clubs, and I feel fine about watching another big player leave a club, which... okay, good. I mean, he was partly brought in to deal with, I wouldn't call them adverse circumstances, but I call them like challenging transfer situations where, first of all, you're not always going to get your best target, especially in this competitive market. You've got to make Liverpool a very palatable place to go, which I think it already is thanks to the Klopp years, and it probably is even more thanks now to the fact that Slot just won a Premier League title, and the players have spoken about how much they love playing under him, and we've just seen Mo Salah have his best season ever, and we've seen that Liverpool have immediately upgraded and made players better through coaching and the system and all those kind of things, and the fact that we seem ahead of the curve tactically, and we seem to be able to bring people in who then maximise their potential, whether they're spending a lot of cash or a little bit of cash. Both of those aspects, we just maximise what resource we have. Would you not want to be one of those players? Would you not want to be one of those people who maximises their overall potential? Surely you would. And, you know, I understand that. I get that as like, I think that's a very, you know, I get why Real Madrid is a very alluring prospect. And I mean, you know, on my Trent video the other day, a lot of people leaving comments about why he left. A couple of people talking about, you know, Gerrard's comments and those kind of things about how Gerrard had his conversation with his brother and his dad, and he changed his mind essentially at the very last minute or kind of very late on, how he did have his head turned by more Mourinho than Chelsea and the prospect of playing elsewhere. And I think in that context, you can kind of understand Trent. So I you know, similar to what Slot said, he hopes that there is only positive energy towards Trent. He hopes that there is only good things chanted and said about him. And I think we should be able to express ourselves. He said, you know, I'm not going to tell the Liverpool fans how to feel. I'm not here to do that. But I do obviously manage the team, and I tell you how I would like them to be received. That's, you know, I think that's broadly positive. He can't really say much else, to be honest. He kind of gave the political answer or the correct answer in this particular circumstance. But equally, I kind of want to see Conor Bradley. I've got to admit, I really thought Trent was poor against Chelsea. I really didn't think he looked like he was putting all that much in. A lot of his passing was very wayward. Didn't really offer anything that looked like Trent, and similar to some of the other evaluations we've had more recently, he hasn't looked like Trent in quite a while. You know, no wonder they're getting him on a free. But at the same time, I also just want to see the guys that want to be here. Like, I know we want to give him a big send-off, and we probably will against Crystal Palace last day of the season when we get that opportunity to lift the trophy. Until then, do we really need to do this long goodbye kind of pity party sort of everything else? Is it even really a pity party? We've kind of had the anger come out. We've had the emotion been said. We know how Liverpool fans now feel. We know how Trent feels. It's kind of an air of acceptance more around the side than anything else. I think now the concern is more like, you know, Konate and a contract. You know, we've locked down Verge, we've locked down Salah, now locked down Konate. Or, you know, what are we going to do with Real Madrid again sniffing around another one of our players? It's not tapping up. In modern football, obviously, you know, there are a lot of blurred lines because people have DMs and mobile phones and all these kind of things. But do we want to continue to set a trend of us losing players and kind of them wanting to go somewhere else? Can we even stop that trend? I mean, I think we can by having a culture that obviously, and finding the right people to be part of it. But like, do we want to lose Maka? Do we want to lose Konate? Do we want to lose all these people? Or at the same time, and I know this sounds very conspiracy theorist-like, is it a good way? You know, Konate is an excellent world-class player. He's probably one of the top 3 Premier League centre-backs at the moment. Probably, especially if we're talking about against Arsenal centre-backs who are fit. Do Liverpool ever want to drum up interest in other players? Do Liverpool ever think about leaking things about, you know, Konate being in his last year of his contract and other teams wanting him? Does it go kind of the other way where Liverpool are like, right, well, actually we want to drum up some interest in Konate. If Real Madrid are interested in him, then we can get some money for him. Even if obviously he's in the last year of his contract and he's running it down. I'd be annoyed if it kind of became like a serial thing at Liverpool, is kind of what I'm saying. Broadly, I think we should play. I don't know if we'll start Endo again. I think a lot of last week's team was probably dictated by how heavily people drank. Although if that was the case, Trent and Jones shouldn't have played. I don't know if either of them are teetotal. I'm just sort of saying they didn't look particularly on it out on the field. I think we will play a stronger team against Arsenal. A, it's Anfield, and I think we do kind of owe something there. B, the Guard of Honour is a big thing. You know, it is weird when sometimes you see people as part of a Guard of Honour who've been kind of fringe players for a little bit of time. And C, I want to explore this squad. I want to see what there, you know, explore myself in Asia. I want to see what there is to offer. Like, I want to see. I thought actually a lot of people were slagging Harvey Elliott off the other day. I actually quite enjoyed his performance. I think he's always very dogged. I think he's always trying to perform for the team. And if he is to go in the summer, which I'm not 100% sure he is, but I think there may be some offers come in for him, I want to see him get a chance to score some great goals in this shirt. Like, I've seen him score some amazing goals in this shirt, but to kind of get that goodbye or just get these moments of savouring Anfield, we should be, and here's my final kind of kicker here, savouring these moments. Like, enjoy winning a title. Enjoy these things. I know that Trent's overall announcement has kind of has marred the atmosphere a little bit, but broadly, enjoy this, guys. You know, there's this whole thing at the moment, would Spurs have had a better season if they win the Europa League than Arsenal? Now, I don't think they have had a better season than Arsenal. They've been pretty poor in the Premier League. Broadly, there's very little confidence outside of the players in their manager, and even then, you've got to question whether there is confidence in the players. And the same kind of goes for, and I kind of said, well, I think the reason Arsenal have had a better season is they'll finish second. They've got a good run in the Champions League, so they've got a good chunk of change. And they're going into next season feeling good. I know it's about winning in the moment, but you've got to enjoy the moment to be in it. You can't just enjoy only, you can enjoy the winning moments, but you can't just enjoy only the winning moments. Enjoy the building, enjoy the process, enjoy all these things. But then when you get to that winning moment, it makes it all the sweeter because you took pleasure in the grind that you had. You took pleasure in the journey that you took. Yes, there were hard moments, but if you can keep your eye on where you're going to go and what you're going to win or what you'll possibly win, because Liverpool are always in contention for those things, the pleasure of being there, you know, the pleasure of being nominated for the Oscar, the pleasure of being nominated for the Football Writers Player of the Year award, all those kind of things. These are big moments for us. These are important, integral, historic moments. And I can't wait to, you know, I'm going to go to the parade. Hopefully I'm going to go to that final day. If you see me at the parade, come say hi. I'll have my kids with me, so I might be a little bit preoccupied, but I'm proud to have my family there. I'm proud to come from Liverpool. I'm proud to be part of this fan base. And I know obviously that, you know, a lot of people don't like the accent or whatever, but I can't change that. I can't change how I speak. I'm not going to change 30 something my accent in order to kind of sound more, you know, whatever you want me to sound like. I can't wait to celebrate that with you guys. But every time I'm watching these games, I'm just enjoying the moment. When I was watching Chelsea last week, I was literally just laughing when they scored. I was like, oh, this is great. Bit of charity on our part. Like, and then when we scored, I was like, yeah, okay, little comeback on. I'm just enjoying the undulation of the game. Just enjoy it. You know, we don't have to take it too seriously. And now we know Trent's going. I think we can accept it, give him a good send-off. And hopefully that means that at some point he might come back, or he might go, you know what, like, I miss Liverpool. I want to go back and have that. And it's not too toxic or it's not too negative for him to leave. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll chat to you in a little while. Looking forward to the game on the weekend. Shall I name my starting 11? Alisson. Although I think Kelleher should get a little start out, but Alisson. Connor, Verge, Canate, Robbo. Although Simicast, I thought had a good game last week, I've got to admit. I would still put Gravenberch in there alongside Jones, alongside Elliott, alongside obviously Salah. I want to get Salah as many goals as possible. Alongside, I want to put Chiesa in the middle, but let's see. And then on the other side, I put Cody. Just because I actually, I enjoyed Cody's performance last week. And I think he, you know, again, kind of an overlooked player this year, but he's been there in the key moments in the Champions League. And he had that little scoring blast that I really liked. And I just like his attitude. And I love how he speaks. And I love how he does seem like a good advocate for Liverpool. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And I will chat to you, more on this channel probably tomorrow, but after the game. And there is a Discord down there. There is a Patreon. And of course, there is also a Super Chat. Feel free to use any of them. And I will see you guys on the other side. Much love. Bye.